Cool. So hi, Pat. Thanks for being willing to come chat for a bit.
You are welcome.
I would love for you to start by explaining to folks what was going on in your life and your business when you reached out to me initially before you ever joined the Anti-Boring Approach Coach Training Program.
I have been a therapist for about 25 years, actually more now. And I was doing fine, but I was looking for a change. My kids had just graduated from high school, and I always had really liked being involved in the academic world, both as a student and as a teacher and as a parent. And I just love the idea of academic coaching. So when I saw your page for academic coaching, I thought, that's it.
And what made you decide that you wanted to, because I think retirement was part of it, right? Like you're also looking to make a little bit of a switch.
That's true. I am in the next few years. I will in fact I'll be thinking about that in the next few months, actually.
Right.
How I want to do that.
Right. And so I remember
so being able to see people virtually instead of in my office one-on-one is really important. So that's what I'm going to go for next fall, is actually seeing all my clients virtually. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. I remember you saying at the beginning too, that it felt like a bit of a relief to the idea of not having to deal with sort of the large problems that you often deal with as a therapist, and it felt lighter somehow to be working with teenagers.
It's different, and I always like a little bit of variety. So it's just a different kind of work with a person.
Right. And so you said you're about ready to transition to being virtual. So tell us a bit about, so at the beginning you didn't have any coaching clients, or you had one?
I did not have any academic coaching clients. I had done a program about 2 years earlier in the summer where I had a parent and a student in at the same time, and it was more teaching oriented. And it was, I think, 9 weeks. And it really, people needed 6 to 9 weeks. They kind of went in 3-week increments. And that went pretty well, considering that I just kind of put it together and put it out there. I think people liked that it was a package. But I feel like I wasn't really... it's one thing to tell things to people, but it's another, even if they participate, but it's another to have them learn to use them. So I was looking for something that would be more, you're coaching them as they go, or putting it to use in the classroom and using the parts of it that they needed most.
Awesome. And so that was almost a year ago that you joined me, right? So what's the state of the business now?
Both fall and spring. So I think I joined in January, and then so in the fall and in the spring, I've both been full with my coaching clients. I've had, let's see, how many spots have I had? I had 6 spots in the fall, and I think I have 7 spots now.
Great.
And in the fall, I had no virtual clients, and now I have 3. So they'll all end at the end of the summer. So we'll be starting the cycle again. But that's been pretty exciting to be full for all the spots I had available right away.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And did some of those clients came through me?
Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm. And where else have you been finding some of those other clients?
From schools, from either, I think, let's see, one came from a counselor at a school. 2 of them came from, they found me on the web. I'm not sure whether they came through you or not. They're from the East Coast. So that was interesting, since I have not tried to find people that are far away, but it's been great. And I do talks at schools. So a couple people have called as a result of those talks, or hearing someone else that went to a talk.
Great. So it sounds like you have your fingers out in a number of different kinds of rural places.
Yeah, that's always important, is to have a lot of, to be doing a couple of different things to get the word out that I even exist.
Yeah, right. And how much of that came through our training program, and how much of your knowledge about how to find those partners came from other places besides your work with me?
Well, it has been evolving. So I have been working on learning how to do marketing, which is basically to talk to people about what I do, for quite a few years. And I've had a number of business coaches. Most recently, before you, I was in a coaching program. So I was really doing just a general life coaching program for adults. And I was doing a general shift in how to talk about that in a way that was different from therapy. So I was partway down that path. But for academic coaching, it's unique because you have 2 clients always. And I think it was you labeled it as that, but I knew there was something going on there. A client, and it's both. And
say more about what you mean by that first before you move on, so that listeners.
Sure. Because you have the parent's usually the one looking for help, and you have the student, because if the student's not on board, then you can't be effective. So it's really important to both let the parent know the value of academic coaching, but also let the student know what's in it for them. So there are always two clients, and there are two conversations. And the coaching, the kind of materials that I had put together for life coaching for adults with that in mind weren't really suitable. So I would have had to start from scratch and invent my own. And I could have done that because I've had experience doing it, but it would have taken me probably a year to get that down. So I would only beginning to be starting the coaching probably next fall. And so I'm a year ahead because you laid it all out. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I remember you saying, even in the midst of our part 2, The Art of Launching Your Biz, at some point you said, oh my God, this is so step by step.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Say a little bit, because some of the folks watching are considering whether they want to join the program. So you will kind of describe what it was like and why that was so useful for you.
Well, first there was the content, and what I like is I have actually read a lot of that too, because I've been interested. I was a teacher, and I've been interested in academics anyway for a long time, and helping my kids and helping other people's kids and tutoring. So I felt like I knew the concepts, I had the ideas, but it wasn't put together into a package. So what you did is you put it together into a package that made sense. So that made it both easier to teach and also easier to present to parents.
Right. And that part you're talking about is the art of inspiring students to study strategically. So part
yes. One. And so that chunk was, that's what I had intended to take. But then I saw that you had it laid out how to talk to both people. You also have a really nice, your habits chart is really nice. So that's a way of communicating with parents about how the sessions are going, which is really key. And that's part of staying connected with the parents, because they want to see what you're up to. And I know as a parent that it's really hard to be spending a lot of money on your student, have no idea whether they're even having a conversation about what you're hoping they have a conversation about. So if I'm hiring a coach for, help with study skills, I'd love to know that they're talking about study skills. And this way they can see not only what we're talking about, but I give them a fair amount of detail. So I'm following that model. You have the technology set up, reminder systems. The chart itself has lots of pages in it and it's become totally second nature for me to use. Zoom, I wasn't online virtually at all with people. Now I even use it for my personal conversations because it's way better than Skype. So for $14 a month, it's so just a lot of, so there was the technical pieces, the getting parents and students on board pieces. And I was pretty good with my financial system. You did offer that, but I'm pretty good at bookkeeping at this point. But all of those other things were just sped things up so much.
Right. So you just had to kind of do the next thing I asked you to do.
Yes.
Rather than build it all from scratch.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad.
People don't realize how hard it is to build from scratch. I know you do because you did it, but it's really hard to build this stuff from scratch. It's possible, but it just takes a lot of time and trial and error, and you've got a really great system.
Right. Well, good. Thank you. What have you discovered so far is the hardest part of building your academic coaching practice?
Calling people at schools that I don't know. It's always just a little bit. I'm definitely on the introverted side. It's funny though, because I can do talks and that's okay, but calling people, that's a little harder, but it's not that hard, but that's the hardest part.
Is there a tip you'd give people about how to get over that hurdle?
I would structure it for a certain time. Certainly if you can make yourself more comfortable, like make it, Tuesday mornings at 9 and get your cup of tea and all, that would be better. And part of it's just getting used to it. Like anything you learn, tennis or skiing, and you just get used to balancing in a certain way and then it becomes easier. And the same is true with anything that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's partly it's the unfamiliarity of it. So I think for a lot of people, it just becomes more comfortable by doing it because you're actually offering these people a favor by doing that. And I make sure that at the point that I was doing that last fall, I actually had a free seminar that parents could come to. So that was something that I could give them that they could offer people. There wasn't any charge. So I was doing that. I've used things also before, like when I did my last round, I called people and I said, I'm doing a survey, which I was doing, and I'm trying to find out about what students need. And people talked to me that probably wouldn't have, because they really felt like, they were being asked about their knowledge. They thought students had needs. I said that I was trying to develop something that would be, anyway. So it's kind of an exchange, and that makes it feel more just like a normal conversation.
Yeah, so it sounds like getting over that marketing hurdle from thinking that you're forcing yourself on someone to realizing, to creating a strategy to make sure that you're giving them something valuable, and then to really believing in that value yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did, because you spent pretty much the year with our cohort.
Yes.
So it sounded like the part of the value that you got from us was just my content and the incremental way I walked you through it. But was there also value to be working with a group of people who are also building the very same business at the same time?
Oh yeah. First of all, it's more fun. And it's more motivating. There's not any, everybody else is doing it. So you're like, okay, we're all doing this, rather than, okay, well, do I feel like doing it this week? Right. There's much more, I guess, motivation and enthusiasm. And, other people are having these moments of excitement or these moments of frustration. And then, like, if someone else is having a moment of frustration, I maybe can offer a suggestion. Or if I've got good ideas from people in my cohort too. So I put out some requests on Facebook for ideas, and have gotten some back, not just from you, but also from other people in the cohort. So that's been really helpful.
Yeah, and I'm only hoping that's going to grow as we get more and more people into the Facebook groups. As new cohorts come on through, there'll just be more and more resources that are an ongoing resource, even past.
That would be great.
Time.
Yeah, and our audiences are a little different, so I feel comfortable sharing materials too with each other. So that's kind of fun too, because people might have something like a flyer developed, and then you can look at that, or someone put together this workshop and they're willing to share that. So it's really great.
And I know a lot of people who are thinking about joining the program are stressed about money, right? Because a few $1,000s is kind of a lot to put down when you're not making any money yet. And do you have any idea how long it took you to pay yourself back for the investment? Like, had you paid yourself back before the end of the training program, do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the end of the program was the end of the year.
Right, and you had paid it.
The end of the first semester. So definitely I had 6 clients.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So by the end of the first semester, you had more than paid yourself back, and then you were making money during part 3, The Art of Rocking Your Biz.
Yeah. And I think for me, the issue about money, I mean, there's just, do you have it? But other than that, the issue is what I'm paying for worth the money? Like, is there value to this? It's all about really if there's value. And it's always hard to know at the beginning. So, but I certainly felt like there was. In fact, I signed up for the first part first by itself.
Right.
So that was a smaller chunk. And so then I could see that there was value to it. And I thought, okay. And then you had laid out what you were going to do in the other parts. So clearly I could see immediately that there was value in that as well. So.
Well, and as someone who has done a lot of training and even marketing training with other people, and all the training is great. So I think it matters who's teaching and what that person is like and whether they're a good fit. So what would you tell people about what it's like to be training with me, including the kind of cohort that I attract? Like, what's unique that might help them choose me or not choose me, depending?
Well, I'm not sure there's anyone else doing this right now. So, I mean, there is that. but you have very high energy and you're fun. So it's fun to be in a group with you. But it's not just fun because you also stay on track. It's really important to me. Something has value when we actually do what you say you're going to do, and you consistently did that and checked in on people and made sure that people were doing that. And if there was some life event that got in the way, then you would work with them around that. But yeah, that kind of combination of having a good time, but also staying on track and getting stuff done.
Right. And did it really feel like the rest of the cohort was staying on track too? Yeah. Like, it wasn't those where people were slacking off, like you really felt like.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else kind of advice-wise that you would say to people who are thinking about becoming academic life coaches, like something that they should pay attention to, like before they dive in to make sure it's a good fit, or just something to make sure that they're doing while they're building their business?
Well, I have not thought about whether being an academic life coach, how to decide whether that would or wouldn't be a good fit, because I kind of knew it was one by the time I found you. But I would say that if you want to do that, then definitely jump into Gretchen's program. That it's going to be it's not possible. I don't think it's not possible to come up with a faster path to it than through what you offer. It's just really very good.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Yes, that's right.
So we'll include links to your website so people can check you out if they want to. But will you just, for those who are more auditory, will you just say out loud where they can find you?
Yes, I have to spell my website. It's not, yes, I'll have to work on this. It's Pat at LadouceurMFT.com. And that is Pat at, I'm sorry, that's my email. It's www.
Email that if you want.
It's LadouceurMFT.com.
Perfect. You did that beautifully. And we'll have links below the video too.
That'll be easier, yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pat.
One tip for people.
Oh, yes.
If you don't have a website yet and you're starting out, pick something that's easy for you to say out loud and for people to remember and not have to look for spelling. That's a pro tip for free.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.